Hello, welcome to Sandy Maya's Bellydance Crashcourse for beginners. Now, if you're a beginner and you have already covered all the moves that I've got here in my crash course, then you're probably ready to perform, or you may have already performed. Now, if you have performed, then you already know that you're dressing up to go on stage, and depending on where you're performing, there are probably other performers before you and after you. Now, there's always this thing, you need to get prepared in time, not just before you go on stage, but with plenty of time. But you also maybe want to watch the other people perform, your friends, your peers, but you don't really want to give away what you're wearing. Yeah, so there are a few different ways. I'm only going to show you 5 today. I'm sure there are a lot more, but there are different ways in how you can cover yourself with a veil to leave the costume as a surprise for the audience rather than giving it away before you're even on stage, and also to keep you a little bit warm. Okay? As we go through the different ways in how to cover yourself with a veil, please keep in mind that all veils are different material, different size, different shape, and your costumes as well. Make sure that they are compatible. You really want to avoid damaging your veil or the costume. So always watch out for sequins, for gems, for jewelry, that it doesn't get caught in the frail fabric of a veil. Also, please keep in mind that all the different options I'm showing you right now may not be all feasible for the combination that you have. Depending on the fabric, it may be chiffon or nylon or silk or anything else. So you need to see if it works for you. It also depends on the sizing of the costume and how long the veil is and how it's shaped. So please bear that all in mind. It may not all work with the combination that you're working with right now. Okay? Now what you can see me do here is I keep on shuffling the ends of the veil underneath the strap or into the lining of the skirt, because I want to avoid putting any knots in the veil. Now, you may consider using a different veil to cover up than the veil that you're dancing with on stage. Sometimes you actually kind of wear a veil when you go on stage as well. So depending on what fabric it is, again, always make sure that the veils are ironed. Okay, it really makes a big difference when you're on stage or walk around even with the cover up, if it's creased or not, and it looks a lot more professional if it's ironed. And so yeah, it all depends whether you're using it as a cover-up or whether you are using it on stage. There are different ways of wearing the veil on stage, because there are different shapes and forms and moves that you can do with it as well. Here right now I'm only demonstrating how to cover up your costume. And there are different options you can work with. You can work with quick, easy options, partially covered or fully covered. If part of your costuming involves headgear that you don't want the audience to see yet, then you can always go for an option where the veil also covers the top of your head. You know, you may be wearing a diadem or flowers in your hair, and you want to keep it secret until you're on stage. And again, remember that not everything may be working with the veil that you have. If a veil is very heavy and doesn't stay on its own, you need to use your straps of the costume and the lining to help hold it. Otherwise it will just slip off. And as we are exploring the different ways to cover up, you also want to keep in mind where you want to cover up. Are you going to sit in the audience until it is your turn? Are you going to be standing up? That's also very important, because if you wrap the veil around yourself, which makes it difficult for you to sit because it's too tight, or the sequence of your costumes are going to imprint in the veil, or you're going to crease the veil because you're sitting on it, then that's definitely something to keep in mind as well. So as you can see, there are quite a few ways to cover yourself with the veil. Just pick your favorite or play around with it, come up with your own. As you play around with it, you may just find a way that works best for you, but those give you just a little bit of ideas. It all depends on the shape of the veil as well. A lot of them are see-through, of course, some more than others. So depending on what it is that you want to cover the most, if it's a top half, if it's maybe a headgear that you have, then obviously you have the option as well, depending on how long the skirt is or how wide it is as well. So it's always good to have different ideas and different ways of covering yourself, okay? So really it's always good to have a veil with you. And if it's just because you need to get out of the changing room, you know, and you just really want to make sure nobody's going to see you, depending on how long you want to be covered for, you can go for an easy option, like, you know, I'm just going to quickly pop out and then I come back in. So I hope that was useful, and I look forward to seeing which option you choose for the next show. Okay, in the meantime, keep on practicing, keep on dancing, and thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.